When people think about the fall of Rome, they imagine barbarians attacking the city, armies disappearing, or emperors being poisoned in their palaces. But great empires don't collapse only from the outside. The real downfall begins from within. And one of the most dangerous and silent forces behind that collapse is always money. Rome didn't fall only because of invasions or corruption. The real blow came from the collapse of its own currency. And for modern economies still repeating the same mistakes today, Rome's story is a clear warning. Let's go back to the beginning. For centuries, the backbone of Rome was a coin made of pure silver called the denarius. Soldiers were paid with it, merchants demanded it, and people used it in everyday life. The denarius wasn't just money, it was the very symbol of trust in Rome. As the empire grew stronger, the currency grew stronger with it. But running an empire wasn't cheap. Soldiers' salaries, massive roads, cities, wars. Expenses increased, and taxes were no longer enough. So the emperors turned to an old trick, reducing the silver content of the coin. Under Augustus, the denarius contained 95% silver. Under Caracalla, it dropped to half. By Gallienus, it was nearly zero. A coin that was once heavy and valuable had become nothing more than a bronze disc with a thin silver coating. People noticed, and trust collapsed. And what happened next? Inflation crashed down like a wave. Prices soared, soldiers demanded higher pay, and merchants refused to accept the debased coins. People no longer trusted the money, so they even reverted back to barter. In other words, money stopped being money. This chaos peaked in the 3rd century. For about 50 years, Rome struggled with invasions, civil wars, and economic meltdown. Emperors rose and fell, many dying within the same year. But behind all the chaos was the same underlying problem: a collapsed financial system. Diocletian tried to stabilize prices and even threatened rule breakers with death. But it didn't work. If the money itself is worthless, changing price tags fixes nothing. In the end, Rome completely abandoned the denarius. Constantine introduced the gold solidus, which brought some stability, but it was already too late. When money collapses, you cannot feed armies, sustain trade, or earn the trust of the people. Rome's fall began from within. So what does this story tell us? In short, when money collapses, everything collapses. The Roman Empire thought it could deceive its people with worthless money. And today, many countries do the same thing in different ways. Printing more money, manipulating interest rates, inflating debts. The result is always the same. The people pay the price. History has proven this again and again. In 1920s Germany, people carried their wages home in wheelbarrows. In Zimbabwe, prices doubled every single day. Even modern economies suffered a silent value loss after 1971, when the dollar was disconnected from gold. Coins may look the same, but their purchasing power has melted away. And today the situation is even bigger. This time it's not just one empire. The entire global economy stands on the same fragile foundations. Massive debts, unlimited money printing, extreme interventions from central banks. If something collapses now, the impact will be global. So what can we do as individuals? Remember, inflation isn't an accident, it is a policy tool. Real value doesn't come from paper money, it comes from land, production, skills, and true hard work. And never assume we will never collapse. Many societies thought so. Rome did, Weimar Germany did, Zimbabwe did. When money loses its value, the foundation of society cracks. Trade stops, trust fades, state authority weakens. Enemies at the gate only deliver the final blow. The real collapse comes from within. History may not repeat itself exactly, but it always punishes those who fail to learn from it. Remember, history always shows us the way, if we know how to look. If this perspective showed you something new, hit subscribe.